We literally got our hands on the EVGA TORQ X10 carbon mouse. This is a carbon fiber mouse with some pretty crazy materials used here. We've got carbon, we've got nickel, we've got some metal, I believe it's aluminum, we've got some plastic, and we've got some polytetrafluoroethylene, we've got some cloth here and the microfiber braided cable. Lots of different materials used in this mouse. Mouse? Yes. I think that might even be a bit of rubber there on the scroll wheel. First thing I want to do before I talk about the aesthetics and the feel and all that stuff is just cover the basic specs, but we're going to get to the special stuff in just a minute. Now this is using the EVGA 9800 sensor. It's the ADNS 9800 sensor, and that's capable of up to 8200 DPI/CPI. They're the same thing everyone always asks in the comments. I just prefer the term CPI. But it's DPI, whatever. They also have the Omron switches, and they have the fancy ones rated at 20 million clicks. So if you're playing Diablo or League or some game that you just click a lot, you'll have a lot of fun with it. The one thing that's nice about the ADNS 9800 is it is a very tried and true sensor. There were some anomalies and weirdness when it first came out. They fixed that, and it seems to be the standard laser sensor that everyone goes for when they're using a laser sensor as opposed to an infrared sensor. A lot of the pro gamers seem to go for infrared sensors. And that's because there's zero acceleration. This one is about, I guess, on paper, it's pretty much zero. They say there's no mouse acceleration with this one. And I really have not been able to tell much of a difference between this and some of the best infrared sensors on the market. So they've done a very good job with the 9800 sensor. And again, you'll see it in most premium laser gaming mice out there on the market. The weight on this is 121 grams, but you can pretty much rip the entire top off, and the first time you take it off, it is stiff. It was actually really required a lot of force to get the top off of this. But once you rip that off, there's a spot here where you can add 2 weights, and there are 6 weights included. So you pick the exact combination of weights that you want to make the mouse just as heavy as you want it. The maximum weight by combining up to 2 of those weights is 134 grams. 34, yep, and that does not include the weight of the cable. And again, this is a braided cable. I do not really like braided cables all that much unless you have something to hold it or something to pin it in place, because for me, they're a little heavy. They create a bit of drag and they can get stuck on stuff on your desk. I usually prefer a much lighter weight cable. But most of the people out there in the audience expect a braided cable and want a braided cable, so you get a braided cable, all right? All right, the length of the unit is 4.5 inches or 114.3 millimeters. The width is 2.25 inches or 57.15 millimeters. And the height is adjustable thanks to a TORQ screwdriver that comes with the unit. And right here on the back, you can see this little spot there where you can adjust. Now, the back part here, where your palm is going to rest, and then where your hands and your fingers are going to rest, right here in the middle, that all raises straight up. So you just turn it a few times, and normally it's 31.75 millimeters, but you can extend it to 38.1 millimeter. So it's not a ridiculous amount, but it really allows you to adjust this for exactly the style of gamer that you are, exactly how you want to grab this. It can make a bit of a difference as far as, if you're a claw grip and you're hovering a little bit, and maybe it's not maybe your hand is hovering above the mouse if it's a flat mouse. So this will really allow you to adjust it for whatever style you want to play. Polytetrafluoroethylene feet on the bottom, of course the laser sensor right there in the middle, and there's also a profile switch button right there that'll allow you to cycle through the onboard profiles. And again, there can be more profiles in the computer, but this is great if you take it with you. You can store up to 5 profiles on here. You can also record a bunch of macros and everything in the software. And we're not going to get deep into the software in this video, but you can record your macros, just about like every other gaming mouse software out there on the market. But yeah, it does the job, does the trick. All right, now let's go through the button placement and all that on the mouse. All right, on the top here, you have, of course, your left and right click, and again, Omron switches there. Then you have your scroll wheel. It's got a decent scroll to it. Nice grip to it as well, so you're not going to be slipping around on this. There's a nice rubber grip on there, and it can be depressed for another button. Your DPI adjust is right there, and then on each side we have 2 additional buttons, and I found that those I've never accidentally hit those. I played a few games with this, never accidentally hit them. I had to deliberately raise my thumb because they're in a spot where you kind of like have to raise your thumb up and smack them just like that. So I think they're in a really good spot. And also for my hand, and I'm a decently tall guy, but my hands are not huge. I can barely palm a basketball. If the basketball is going flat, I can palm it. But for my hand position, it was really easy to smack those. Over here on this side as well, decent spot. I never accidentally hit them. So my only, I guess, gripe with this is there are so many seams in this mouse. When you compare this to a unibody mouse with a rubberized coating, you are going to notice and feel those seams after you really get into it and start moving around. You don't notice them as much. And if you're a claw grip gamer, this could be pretty ideal because you grab the mouse and you're not actually going to feel a lot of those seams because your hand is a little elevated right there. If you're just totally palm grip, this is probably not the best mouse in the world for palm grip, though you could make it work. If you have smaller hands, if you have really big hands, you may engulf the entire thing because it's not really that wide. But I really think it's pretty good for claw grip or someone who's kind of somewhere in between claw grip and palm grip. It can be really good for that. So there you have it, another good mouse. This one's from EVGA. I guess the weirdest thing here is the fact that now EVGA is making mice as well, but it's doing a really good job. They've used a lot of really good parts, and just the quality of materials and the build quality is really solid on this. It's solid to the point of being almost stiff. Like when you're taking this thing off, it's a little bit stiff, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break at all, ever. So 20 million clicks also makes me very happy. The only thing I'm going to say, as a negative really, is I don't like the weight of this cable. I like the positioning of it. It's, keeps it out of the center. I guess it's fine right there on the side. Bottom line, if you're looking for palm grip, I would probably not recommend it. If you're a claw grip or somewhere in between, this can be a very versatile mouse with some of the highest quality components out there. There you have it. The length of the braided cable is 100,022 feet. Oh my God, I was messing with the mouse and I clicked something and it closed the window. My God, when will I learn?